Welcome to the Vida channel today, everyone. Today's tutorial is revisiting our Ioniq 5 Emblem Removal, Emblem LED Installation, and also some of the techniques that we will be showcasing through this particular video. There will be separate videos where we'll show exactly what we do based on feedbacks that we receive from our channel recently. So we're basically reshooting the entire installation process. This video here is going to showcase how we do some of the more critical parts, and we're going to go ahead and superimpose on examples. All the parts that we use are either included in the kit, and tools that we use are going to be linked in the video's description, so you can go ahead and search and purchase them to help you with your installation. So without any further ado, we're going to go ahead and begin. So first and foremost, we're going to focus on the emblem removal part. The Hyundai emblem for the front hood is held together by 3M tape underneath the badge. There's also 2 pins here on each side. To remove the emblem, you will need either some floss, some emblem removal wire, and highly recommended a heat gun. So from a technique wise, what I typically do is I get a heat gun and then I heat up the edges, the first edge I'm working on, for about 20 to 30 seconds. Once it's heat up, I proceed with grabbing my either some sort of floss or my emblem removal kit wire, and I start going underneath. The toughest part is really getting it started, but once you get it started, the technique is you go underneath and you go back and forth like this. Again, because I'm just showing this example, it's going to be a little bit more hard, but just take your time. You're going to be going as far as this location, and it's going to stop because there's a pin here. Once you get to that point, you're going to do the same thing on the top part. So go ahead and get a heat gun, do it for 30 seconds. Start off on this side because there might be a little bit more opening, and then work your way to the middle and get it all the way down to the center. Again, it's going to stop because there are pins on each side. At that point, go ahead and go back and forth and exit. We're going to redo the same steps on the left and on the bottom of the emblem. Once you have accomplished all 4 sides with your removal wire, grab your heat gun and then go over it one more time. You should be able to lift the emblem slightly, and using that, continue just lifting and heat gun. You should be able to lift it all the way. Once it's lifted off completely, you may have some remaining 3M on the emblem, which is great. And then you're also going to have some 3M on the hood, which is okay. If you have some 3M on your hood, use your fingertips just to basically rub and scrape it off. For the smaller part, I would recommend getting some Goo Gone, spraying it, and let it sit for 5 minutes before go ahead and using a little bit of pressure with a microfiber towel to remove. Once all the adhesive is removed, go get some rubbing alcohol and a brand new microfiber towel to wipe and clean the area. Let that sit for a little bit by itself. Just a quick reminder, similar to your hood, there's going to be 2 holes. We're going to be using this existing right hole to route the cabling. So the cabling is coming directly out of the new emblem on the right hood. So I'm going to go ahead and now shift over to the emblem kit. In the kit, you'll receive the emblem. A lot of times, you will also get additional wires, like this additional wire. You're going to get this module that I'm going to go ahead and release because I'm going to showcase how you do posi tap later. This module, which is to control lighting. And then 2 posi taps. They look like this. You also get these connectors with the heat shrink. And then at this point, what I would encourage you to do, and you'll see it in the video, is once you remove the interior panel, and this is the part where I'm jumping ahead because you still need to remove the interior panel, and I'll talk about that with these clips after this. But once your panel's removed, you have to route wires. I would route all the wires through the interior of the hood and get it to the edge, Once you have it routed and released as far as you can, then I will add the extension wires. The extension wires are very similar to what the wires are on the Emblem. There are 3 wires. For the Emblem, you only need to use 2 of them, the black and the red. So similarly, on the extension wires, you're just going to use the black and the red. We're not going to use the yellow. We're not going to connect to it. How it works is that to connect these wires and extend them, use the butt connector provided. Make sure you get the existing wires. You can turn them a little bit. That's my technique. And then slide it in to the butt. And then go ahead and crimp to tighten. This will hold. Just crimp. A lot of technique a lot of people use is hold it with the crimp tool first and then you slide it in. Again, connect the black to black, red to red, and then that will extend your cable. Once your cable is extended, you'll have the other end, and on the other end, you would do the same thing and connect the red to red. The end that you're targeting to connect is the side that says LED. So there's one side that says LED and one side says 12 volt. The 12 volt is the side that we are going to connect to the headlights. So a part that says LED, that's where we're going to connect to the extension of the cable. And again, it's red to red, black to black. Once all these are connected, your end of your Emblem wiring is going to be red and black with the 12 volt. This is where we connect to your headlights, your low beam, to get that really unique behavior. To do so, we're going to go ahead and use this as an example. This may or may not be your headlight. It's fine. But it's usually pin 1, which is blue, and pin 4, which is black. We're going to go ahead and posi tap in here. And how do you use posi tap is as such. You're going to go ahead and unscrew the gray part. And if you look at the gray part really closely, let me go ahead and get a zoom in. There's like a little seam in the middle. You slide the seam into the wire. So you slide it in. Get it through, and now it's through the wire, as you can see, and you screw in the part where there's a little needle, and that pinches the wire. It goes through, and I know there's some concerns about voiding warranty. I would tell you right now that there's highly unlikely this will do anything to the wire beyond just touching and tapping it. But if you have some concerns, I get it, and that's something that you have to be aware of. On the other end, once it's tapped into the wire that you're intending to, you're going to grab the module where it says, again, the 12 volt power. You're going to go ahead and, again, what I did was I unscrewed the red end. We're going to slide the wires through so you can see, and this is the important part, you need to be able to see the wire coming through slightly. You kind of see it coming through slightly. And then I'm going to screw this back in on the side where it's open. And make sure you don't overly tighten, but enough where it doesn't move. And this has been posi tapped, just like that. You can do it for ground and for power. And that is all you need to do for the headlight connection. I would recommend turning off your car and then making sure your headlights are on the off position. So this basically represents the installation for the wire, the posi tap, and extension. I'm going to go ahead and set this aside, including all these items. Put this back. And we're going to talk about the removal of these clips. So when you lift up your hood, you have this insulation that is present, held together by these clips. So I'm going to take this clip off and just show you what it looks like. So this is what the clip looks like. And what it does is that on a metal hood, even though it's pinched, it's held together by these little edges here. It prevents it from being pulled out. What I do, my technique is I get a tool that I have that's very thin and pointy that allows me to really kind of push and pick. So I'm going to peel back on these clips. And what I do is I find this little middle edge, because then I know that the left and the right clips are on each side. And then I pinch one end and pull slightly. When I pinch and pull, it will release one side and one side only. Do not pull any further. what you're going to do is you're going to hold on to this so that it remains loose, and then you're going to turn it 180 on the other side, and then to the extent possible, pinch this in. I'm going to look. So I'm going to pinch this in. Pinch. Pinch. And when you pinch it, then you pull, it will release. So we're going to kind of do this. So again, when we do this on here, it's going to be a little bit less, it's going to be a lot easier because it's cardboard, but I'm just going to show you techniques. So this is your hood. It's going to be facing upward. So you pull with your finger like this, and then you pull it out to find the edge, and then you pinch. You literally just push down and pinch to release one side. So once you have one side release, and I think it's going to be tough to showcase this, but you have one side released and you're going to turn. So what I'm doing is I'm turning, and then on the other side, you're going to reach in this tool and try to grab it by pinching it as well. So what you do is I'm pinching it and then pulling it out, and that's how you're going to release it. You're going to need to release at least half the panel size so you can get full access to see really the area of the hood so that you can route the wires much easier. Once you have done that, pretty much you're smooth sailing. These are the most challenging parts of the installation. And again, we will be performing these steps in parts of the video after this one. So I would encourage you to revert back to this video if you have questions about how all these elements play a role and what I do when we're actually performing the install on the car hood itself in the subsequent video. So with that, our next video should be hopefully released by this weekend. And thank you for all your support. The emblems can be located on EV Vida website. EV Vida out, everyone.